Hey, Miles here, milesbecko.com. In this video, you're going to learn how success is emergent and not linear. This is a mental model for you to use. What it's going to do is empower you to understand the truth of what creates success in your business. We're going to start with how success is not linear so you can get that framework that's probably what you think it is out of your mind, and we'll then replace it with what the real way success works. So this is what a lot of people think that success is a linear series of things. So right there we have a little example, and it is a niche plus a Facebook ad plus an affiliate offer equals money. If it were that simple, everyone would be making money online. And in theory, that does make logical sense. Those are the logical components, but it's not as easy as linearly following all of these things. Now, this is the approach that a lot of the fake gurus will take to try to sell you on their system. They try to sell you the fact that their system is a linear method. Do this, click here, do that, click here, do this, click here. It'll work for everyone, but the truth of the matter is it won't. And the reason is because this is a false model. It's a false mental model. So I'm going to erase that off the board, and we'll now replace it with what actually is. So here I've taken the same core ideas, right? These are the same pieces of the puzzle, the idea of a niche, a Facebook ad, and an affiliate marketing, kind of an affiliate offer, right? Like in theory, those are what are able to create success. But what happens is success actually emerges out of the skills that are within each one of these, right? So when done effectively, this is ultimately where success comes from. But here's the kicker, right? Each one of these is filled with other dependent skill sets. And if you're just looking at the thing and not the underlying skill sets that are required, each one having its own learning curve, that's where you're really going to miss the understanding of where success actually comes from. So let's add some of those on here as well. So now you can actually see that within each one of these components that were so easily explained in the sales letter by the fake guru is just do this, just do that, are actually comprised of many extremely different things. And it's ultimately when you're able to really dial in enough of your skills on these sub and lower skill sets that success will emerge, right? Success is not something that happens linearly. Success emerges out of all of this. And here's where it gets really interesting. You may have a past experience, like let's say you overcame fibromyalgia, let's say you overcame a physical ailment, since I'm obviously out of my kind of realm in that world, but my goal is to help you understand that like if you overcame an acute physical ailment through natural remedies, an ailment that affects millions of people, you have something that I don't, right? You are able to say you have an unfair advantage in that world, and you could theoretically help more people more effectively than I could in that space. With that said, I might have you in the world of understanding the Facebook platform because I've spent 150 grand on Facebook ads over the last 4 or so years. I might have a little heads up on you on copywriting, maybe not. That's irrelevant. I'm just trying to help you understand that different individuals and you will be a little bit more heavily weighted in these different areas than other people. So what do you need to do, right? Well, the first and best place, I think I kind of tapped on it here, is looking into your past experiences, your professional history, what you've done, what problems have you overcome, what goals have you achieved that other people would love to learn how you did what you did, right? Another way of that said is what's something that comes easy to you that your friends and family members ask you for help on. Because when you're basing the whole world of building a business online and creating success for yourself online, when you're basing that on something that's kind of like innate, that kind of feels easy to you, that maybe you've been riding horses all your life and you know how to train a horse really well. And for new people who are retiring from the Bay Area with millions of dollars from selling their condo in San Francisco, and now they want to finally have a farm or a hobby farm where they've got horses, and you have the skills that they desire, they're willing to pay you $97 a month in a membership program to get that information from you. Well, in that situation, there's only a few factors you need to figure out, right? Like how do you how do you A, find out if these people are looking for you, B, how do you actually get them onto a list, and C, what do you offer them? It would be a different model because this is obviously affiliate based, but it's those kinds of ideas about how success is emergent. And really what I'm hoping you're able to see from here is that there's certain skills that you're going to need to kind of understand and really get good at in order to create success in absolutely any niche. Now, my wife and I, moving forward, when we started our first business online in 2009 together, I had failed at many, many previous business attempts. Her and I had never actually tried something together. So what we did in that situation was we looked at each other's strengths. I had this knowledge of how affiliate marketing worked. I'm going to draw this out as we go because I think this might be extra helpful for you. So we're going to call this M&M money, right? So the goal was to get here. Is Melanie and Miles making enough money to pay off Miles' student loans and to survive? We were in a like a collegiate style flop house type thing that was a flip. It was a $300 a month room we were sharing. Our expenses were really low and we were like, how can we just make enough to cover our lifestyle? So we looked at our situation. What skills did we bring to the table? We didn't go try to plug into some system that was selling us $1,000 system of do this, do that, do this, because that ignores the truth that success emerges out of our skilling up. So we looked inside first. So we had Melanie had the love for meditation. I did too as well. And writing and researching and reading. So reading and researching was kind of one thing she loved to do anyways in the world of spirituality. She loves writing. She's a good writer. It comes naturally to her. So writing was one of her skill sets. And meditation is something she loved. We learned we could kind of create them. Also channeling is something I could put up there. For me, I had a very deep knowledge of affiliate marketing, keyword research, and really the basics of how... I'll say just Google, the basics of how Google essentially, I guess that's the basics of SEO, how Google deemed which pages get the traffic. Like I had an understanding of that. It's kind of part in on keyword research. So this is what we brought to the table, but we were missing a lot of elements. We were missing all of the tech. We were missing all of the, the conversion side of things, right? How to sell. We were honestly intimidated by the idea of selling these things, right? Selling something in the spirituality world was something that we were intimidated by that theory. We had no idea how to build an email list. I knew it was required because I had failed earlier and I didn't build an email list. So this is what we had, and then we were able to see what we didn't have, right? So it's email. So we had an understanding of what we didn't know, and we had an understanding of what we did know. So what did we do? We started, right? We started, even though we didn't see that clear, logical, this plus this equals money out the other end, we started with what do we have? What can we just do now to get going? Some of the first writings my wife wrote went on a third-party platform. We published to a community that was in our niche that had a captive audience of people who were interested in what we were offering. She started by building on a third-party platform because we didn't even know how to build out the site. I took on the first challenge here of learning how to install WordPress and learning how to install a theme because I knew the importance of owning the race course. So this is one thing we skilled up on. Took a lot of long nights. It was difficult, but we were able to kind of get that good enough. I'm still learning about design, the visual elements of design, conversion design, etc. But ultimately, I learned enough to get something published. It was an ugly website when we started, but it didn't matter because the search engines were picking up our content. We were doing keyword research. We were doing the best we could with what we had, and we just kept moving forward. Then it was like, well, how do we get people on our email list? I don't know. There's a little bit of conversion required for that, so we created something free in exchange for an opt-in, started growing an email list. It didn't grow very fast at first. We didn't have much traffic at first, but we got something going. We just got it going to the best of our ability, and then we just kept putting out content in the different pieces. And it was like, well, how do we sell something, right? Well, the easiest way to sell something is to have a PayPal checkout button that literally they go through the checkout on PayPal and we would get an email notification. When we got the email notification, we would literally reply to that email address with what they purchased. I mean, I'm talking zero tech involved for phase one, but you know what? It worked. And that again gave us a little more experience in how to sell what we were doing. The words on the page that got the user to click that button and want what we were able to offer them, want the kind of outcome we were able to offer them, and we got enough practice on this. And out of all of this, looking back and leaning on what we had from experiences in the past, and then jumping into the unknown of these things that we just did not know what we were doing, but we knew we had to figure them out of all of that, you know what happened? We started to get emails saying, you just made money. And then we started to get more subscribers, and our subscribers started growing by 2 a day and 3 a day and 5 a day. And our traffic went from 10 people a day to 100 people a day, from 100 people a day to 1,000 people a day, right? At this point, the site's getting something like 20 or 30,000 visits per day. And it's because we relied on what we were good at already, and then we focused on these other things we knew we needed to keep adding on. We never stopped doing any of this. We kept going full speed, and we started adding this. And out of all of this, success emerged, right? It actually came out. We didn't master any one of these things. We just kept moving forward with all of these different spinning plates, if you will, keeping them spinning, adding on new ones that we knew would get us to the goal, and out of that emerged the success that we desire. Now, it took years for us to truly get to the point where I was able to pay off the $50,000 in student loan debt. We were able to really kind of get the lifestyle to the point where money wasn't a question anymore. We could go anywhere, fly business class, live life the way that we kind of wanted and actually beyond what we ever dreamt. And it emerged out of our willingness to move forward in the unknown, to produce content in the way that was easiest and best for us, and to leverage those past assets and those past things, our unique kind of our unique advantages, right? The fact that Melanie was willing to read every single book on spirituality every night, like nonstop, consume book after book after book after book. She literally became one of the most well-read people in that space in the world, who was also publishing content and ideas through sheer force because she loved it. She had that desire, that willingness to move forward. And she loved the process of creating these meditations and channeling, so we did it a lot. We kept going. I loved looking at the keywords, going into optimized posts, doing the internal linking, trying to optimize different titles, trying to really get the game of optimization, and then looking at analytics and seeing the traffic show up. That was fun and exciting to me. So she created the content, I optimized the content. This got us ranking. Neither of us had a darn clue of how to do any of this, and we just jumped in and figured it out. And along the path, we hit some challenges. You're going to have to go through the learning curve, and what your little design like that looks like is going to be different than my design. If you've been coaching people at the game of tennis for 10 years, and that's something that you've been doing, and you've helped some kids become the best in state in high school level, you've helped some kids get scholarships at college, you've helped adults compete at an amateur or a pro-am level at the game of tennis, you have all of that tennis knowledge, great, you have a competitive advantage. You have an unfair advantage to me and everyone else in the world, and you can create success online. It can emerge out of that, plus your willingness to go through the learning curve on a few other things. What other things? Growing an audience, generally through content, building an email list through a free giveaway, which is a conversion point, and then selling something, whether it's your product you create, a membership, a service, coaching, video coaching, etc., or someone else's product, you give them a well-timed affiliate link. So it can emerge out of that. And every time you're going to have to go through the learning curve. And the learning curve, you go from being zero at something to hero. And we all wish that the learning curve was like that, right? Straight line, you just jump in, you just start learning and chug, chug, chug. We're going to go along and that's going to work. Seth Godin has a great book if you're interested in this topic of how the learning curve works. It's called The Dip. And he says the theory is that it's kind of shaped a little bit more like this to get to the goal. And this right here is called the dip. And what happens is we'll start out excited. So if you're that tennis coach or whatever that thing is you're relying on, you're like, okay, I can do it. I see the vision for building a digital business. I can scale and bring in, 1,000 members at $47 a month. That'd be a $47,000 per month payday for you if you build this out right. It's a very logically a simple thing to do, even though it takes a lot of energy and effort. So you start off all excited. You're going to learn the world of the web. You're going to build your audience. You're going to build your list. You're going to build those product offerings and learn conversion. You start out all kinds of fired up, and it's like, wow, this is working. Things are falling into place. And then life hits, right? And something happens in your real world. Something happens. You don't have as much time to dedicate. You hit a plateau on your traffic. Things don't seem like they're working. Your web server falls. Your web server, you get 505 error or server 500 errors, and all of a sudden you land down here, and you're in this moment of, I thought I was on the path. I thought this was working. Now I feel like I'm getting crushed by this whole thing. And that's the moment you have a big question to ask yourself. And that question is, do you stop and give up, or do you push through? And do you make it to the top? And this is where his book is great, because his book gives you some ways of looking at the situation. What most people I see online who I've kind of observed, when they hit this first dip and this first big challenge that smacks them in the face and makes them kind of lose the momentum from that initial push of excitement, most people quit. And what do? They actually go back and try something else. And they're like, this membership site thing doesn't work. Maybe I'll do a drop shipping store for tennis. That's what I'll do. All the gurus are telling me that drop shipping's the way. They showed me this simple plan. Find a product, sell a product, make money. Oh, it looks so linear. It looks so easy. But then you're here again, and success is still emergent, even if you change the game that you're playing. So you start off all excited. You find the dropship products. You get your Shopify store going. You get things moving. You're starting to make progress. And then you buy traffic and nothing happens, and nobody wants to buy your things because they don't trust you, and your SSL fails, and your merchant account gets shut down, and you end up in the dip. And what do then? You change niches again. You change the game again, and you go right back to zero. And most people online are in a perpetual loop of zero to the dip. Zero to the dip, and they just loop that over and over, and they don't persevere to get out of the dip and push through. My wife and I can remember distinctly multiple times in our past, 2 specific times. One time we were living in Lake Tahoe in a drafty little tiny cabin. I'm talking 9 feet plus of snow. We were buried in snow, and just, is this worth it? Is this gonna work? Is this angel niche thing, like, is this going to work for us? Like, can we actually make the kind of money we want with this? Like, are we going to be able to cover our lifestyles the way we want to live with this business model? We were deep down in the dip at that moment in time. And we talked about it, and we came to the realization that whether we were able to do this fiscally or not, we loved it. And this is a part of us, and we meditate every day anyways. And we do believe that the whole world will be a better place if we can help 1 million people a month meditate. And that vision, that idea, that crazy idea of helping 1 million people a month meditate was enough for us to be like, you know what, it's not about us. We'll get ours. We'll figure it out. If we need to get other jobs, we will do what we need to do. I was hustling up WordPress websites, running, like if I need to survive off the agency to keep doing the spirituality stuff that I love anyways on the side, that's fine. I'll keep doing. And we pushed our way out, and now we're at a point where I've been able to break away from that brand a little bit, help you with these kinds of concepts, building out a whole nother brand, which is literally adding another multiple 5-figure per month cash flow to our business. And it's been a lot easier the second time because I knew this was coming. I was waiting for it. I expected it. This hit about month 4, month 5 of making my videos. Like, is it worth it? I'm just getting trolled on YouTube. I'm not getting that many subscribers. Is it worth it? And I knew it was coming, so I was able to push right through that and keep going. 60,000 subscribers in under 2 years. I didn't know how to make a YouTube video 2 years ago. I didn't know how to be a content creator myself 2 years ago. I didn't know how to communicate effectively a couple of years ago. And I was making no money with the Miles Beckler brand 2 years ago. So I started with the YouTube channel. I started growing my list. I didn't know how to write emails. I started writing emails. The first ones were bad. They got a little bit better. Now they're pretty good, right? And out of that activity, success has emerged once again. And this time it emerged in a much shorter period of time. And that's what I'm trying to really help, is that success emerges out of doing the work and out of going through the learning curve on many different things. So how can you, the big takeaways here, and we're wrapping it up at this point, is the big question I think you should ask yourself is, what do you have in your past that you can leverage? What is your unfair advantage against the rest of the world, right? Do you have professional experiences? Do you have hobby-based experiences? Is there something you're curious enough about to at least be willing to research 3 to 5 years, because your job as an internet marketer is ultimately to be a researcher for people. Like, I've done 15, 20 years of research in the world of digital marketing, making money online, building websites, how to do it. I've failed more times than I can count. And out of all of that, I know these lessons that I can now share with you. That's what I'm leveraging to build this channel, is my past history and failures in the digital marketing world. My wife, on the other hand, was so curious about the world of metaphysics and spirituality and channeling and angels and literally just that whole world of spirituality and galactic star beings and all of it. So curious about that it was undoubtable that she was willing to read every book published over the next 5 years plus. Still to this day, new book gets published, it gets bought, it gets consumed in a crazy fast period of time, because she absolutely loves it. And then through all these different ideas and her personal experiences and her upbringing, she has, out of that has emerged this unique viewpoint mixed with learning the skill of playing the game of audio, some audio recording. I brought a little bit of chops to the table on that. And then we've found this little unique thing that we create to the world and send out to the world, and it's getting a really, really good response. And we're helping people improve their lives, all based out of this kind of curiosity and passion that my wife has, right? So there's different ways to look at it, but you need to find that thing that's inside of you that you're either curious enough about to move forward regularly with, or something that you have a past history of helping people, or a big problem that you've overcome in your life. If you've cured diabetes naturally, whatever those kinds of big problems that other people are searching for, then you need to jump into the world of audience growth, list growth, and then ultimately copywriting and conversion and selling something, whether it's your product or their product. If it's their product, you're an affiliate. The copywriting and the sale is to sell them on clicking the button, and then they'll do the sale from that point. And out of working on those separate things and trying a lot of things that don't work, your first videos aren't going to be as good as your 50th videos. Your first blog post is not going to be as good as your 50th blog post. So you just got to do the work all the time. Then building your list. Your first offer for your list building, your lead magnet, is not going to be that good. Mine sucked. It did not convert. It converted less than 10%. My current one converts 40% of visitors who see my opt-in page actually opt in for my free thing. That's a 4 times increase, right? But it was kind of incremental. I tried 1, I tried 2, I tried 3, number 4 hit. Then it was like, okay, now I got to learn email marketing. That's what you'll have to do too. And then you get the email marketing going, not focusing on success or the money, focusing on the value and learning these new skills. And out of all of that, all of a sudden, my affiliate commissions just started to pile up, and I'm starting to make $3 grand here, $5 grand there, $8 grand a month there, $10 grand a month over here, $20 grand a month over here. It is crazy that that is what emerged out of all of this activity of growing the YouTube channel, growing the list, and giving as much value as I possibly can to you, which is the exact same experience we had with my wife. It emerged. Success and the cash flow was a byproduct, an emergent byproduct of doing the work, reading the books, sharing the content, learning the actual hard tactical skills of keyword research, of SEO, etc., learning how to sell things, testing different things. Do they want to buy this? Do they want to buy that? Do they want to buy lots of things? Do they want to buy little things? Do they want to buy big things? We've sold over 180 separate products through my wife's brands in the 8 years we've been on. Think about that. 8 years, we've sold 180 separate products. That's over 20 different products we have launched per year on average. That's about 2 per month on average. So we've been putting out sales messages. We had no idea how to sell things, right? But we decided, let's just go start putting out lots and lots and lots of sales messages and try all kinds of different things. And out of that has emerged a very consistent pattern for a very consistent type of product that our audience likes to purchase on a very consistent basis. It emerged out of that. It wasn't linear. There was no path. There is no actual path for you. You're a unique human being. You have a very unique way to find your success online, and your success will emerge out of mixing the digital skills, the tangible skills, the content creation, the conversion, the copywriting, the email list growth, those tangible digital marketing skills mixed with your curiosity, your passion, your excitement, your past history, your story, your personal story, what you've overcome. And when you get those two things working to where you're helping groups of people solve their problems and achieve their goals, that is the moment that success emerges. Went a little longer than expected on this kind of example. It's a very out there idea, but when you get that new mental model that success is not 1, 2, 3 money, 1, 2, 3 money. Success is much more, I got to learn a little bit of this, I got a little bit of that, I got to throw it all together, and then out of that emerges, right? Like you put all the ingredients in to the bowl, you mix it around, then you got to let the dough rise. You got to let the yeast that's in the air do its thing. There's just some magic that has to happen. And that magic is uniquely you. It's your past, your experiences, your story, mixed with the skills you pick up, mixed with the audience you can help, mixed with the problem that you're helping them solve. And when it all clicks together, success happens. And that's what you're shooting for. So be willing to try lots of things. Stay focused on growing a list. Stay focused on giving value to your audience. That is ultimately the big key. And when you stick with it long enough and you make it through the dip, you will find that success emerges. Highly recommend the book The Dip by Seth Godin. I recommend just about anything from Seth Godin. I think he's a brilliant thinker. I listen to his podcast. I like his content. So huge shout out to that guy. Purple Cow, The Icarus Deception is another book of his that's fantastic. He's helped me a ton in my life. And ultimately, I know you can do it, and when you get your mindset shifted to the point of you're willing to do whatever it takes to create the success, you're gonna figure it out one way or another, and you move forward and you blaze forward, doing the work, creating the content, publishing the opt-in pages, testing things, trying, measuring the results, seeing what happens. At some point, you're gonna hit a point where you're gonna look back, whoa, I've made money every day for the last 2 weeks, and at some point you're like, whoa, I just made $5,000 last month. And at some point you're like, wow, I just made $10,000 last month. And that will just keep going as long as you keep going. How long between you and that point? I don't know. That's up to you. That's up to how much content you can put out, how effective you can be, how much skill building you can do between now and then. But if it takes 6 years, would that be a problem? Would it be a problem for you to focus your nights and weekends for 6 years to create a $17,000 per month cash flow doing something that you enjoy? To me, it's 100% worth it. And the numbers, 17 a month is a very small number. I've got friends and family members doing some amazing numbers, but it's not about the numbers. It's about who you're helping and how you're helping. And on that note, I'm out of here. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like, do what you do, engage how you want. Leave me a comment if you have a question. I'm happy to connect with you in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next video. I've got another video coming out in a couple days. So thank you again for your time, and I'll connect with you on the next video soon. Be well.